My beloved child, before you hear another word, stop for just 10 seconds and come close to me. Put down the burdens you carried into this moment. Stop trying to figure out tomorrow. Stop pretending that you are stronger than you feel. Let me hold you in a strong embrace. Rest your tired heart against mine. Breathe deeply and allow my peace to reach the places inside you that have become exhausted from disappointment, hidden tears, and unanswered questions. I know the nights you lay awake wondering if anything will ever change. I know the prayers that have become shorter because you are afraid to hope again. I know the silent battles you fight while everyone around you assumes you are doing fine. That is why I brought you here today. This is not another message to pass a few minutes of your time. This is a divine interruption. I saw your weary heart long before you pressed play. I saw you standing at the edge of giving up, trying to convince yourself that perhaps this is simply the way life will always be. But stay with me until the end, because what I am about to show you may completely change the way you understand this season of your life. My child, you look at your life and often see only what was lost. You remember opportunities that slipped away, relationships that ended, dreams that seemed delayed, and prayers that appear unanswered. You ask me, why did you allow these things to happen? Why did you not stop the pain before it reached me? I do not rebuke you for asking these questions because I understand how tired your heart has become. But I want you to see something you cannot yet fully understand. Sometimes the wounds you resent today were the very things that prevented you from rushing into paths that glittered on the outside, but would have slowly destroyed your peace. Some disappointments pulled you away from people who would have led you further from your purpose. Some delays protected blessings that you are not yet prepared to carry. I do not create evil, but I know how to redeem even the darkest chapters of your story. What the enemy intended to use to break you, I use to reveal my power to restore. You see ashes where I see foundations. You see endings where I see preparation. You see loss where I see room being made for something deeper, stronger, and far more beautiful than anything you planned for yourself. My beloved child, one of the greatest burdens you carry is the fear that you have fallen too far behind. You quietly compare your journey with everyone else's progress. You watch others celebrate answered prayers while your own requests seem trapped in silence. You wonder if I changed my mind about you, if your failures canceled your purpose, or if the years of waiting were simply wasted. But I am not like human beings who lose interest because time has passed. I do not tear up the story I wrote for your life because you stumbled. What I began in you, I still intend to complete. The years you consider lost years are years I have been using to build roots beneath the surface. I have been teaching you perseverance, humility, wisdom, compassion, and a faith that depends on my presence rather than perfect circumstances. One day you will look back at this season and whisper, "The waiting was not wasted. Every tear carried meaning. Every delay was teaching me to trust the heart of God." And when that day arrives, you will understand why I never allowed you to walk away. So today, my beloved child, I ask you for one thing above all else. Do not let go of my hand now. You may feel as though you are dragging yourself through the final steps of a pointless journey. But in my eyes, you are standing much closer to a turning point than you realize. You do not need to leap forward with great strength. You only need to refuse to turn back. Even a slow step taken through tears is enough. Even a trembling prayer whispered through exhaustion is enough. Every time you choose to move toward me, no matter how weak you feel, I shorten the distance between us with great urgency. I have already prepared a place of peace for your soul, a place where you will no longer need to pretend that you are fine, where burdens can finally be laid down, and where healing can begin in ways you never imagined possible. And what I want to reveal next about the battle surrounding your weariness and the breakthrough waiting just ahead may explain why this season has felt unlike anything you have ever experienced. There's another truth I need you to understand, my beloved child, because many people walk away from their greatest season simply because they misinterpret the pressure they are feeling. They assume exhaustion means they are failing. They believe resistance means they are moving in the wrong direction. They look at unanswered prayers, delayed opportunities, and long periods of silence and decide that I must have forgotten them. But I have never forgotten you. I remember every tear that fell when no one was watching. I remember every prayer whispered through trembling lips. I remember the nights when you lay awake staring into the darkness, wondering if your faith was slowly slipping away. I remember the mornings when you forced yourself to smile while carrying burdens too heavy to explain. What you call pressure is often preparation. What you call delay is often protection. And what you call silence is often the season where I am doing my deepest work within you. A seed buried beneath the ground does not believe it has been abandoned simply because it cannot see the sun. It is developing roots strong enough to sustain the harvest that is coming. In the same way, I have been strengthening you in hidden places because what I am preparing to place into your hands requires a heart that trusts me beyond feelings, beyond circumstances, and beyond what human eyes can understand. My beloved child, comparison has stolen enough joy from your life. You look at other people celebrating breakthroughs while you continue waiting for answers. You watch others enter new seasons while you feel trapped in old battles. Quietly, your heart begins asking painful questions. Why are they moving forward while I seem stuck? Why do their prayers appear to be answered so quickly while mine remain suspended in silence? But beloved, you cannot compare your chapter to someone else's entire story. You do not know the valleys they crossed, and they cannot see the unseen victories taking place within you. I do not prepare identical journeys for my children, because I do not assign identical purposes. Some blessings arrive quickly because they carry lighter responsibilities. Others take longer because they are connected to assignments that will influence lives far beyond what you currently imagine. There were relationships you desperately wanted to preserve that could not travel into your future. There were opportunities you begged me for that would have stolen your peace. There were doors you cried over that I quietly closed because I loved you too much to allow temporary excitement to destroy long-term purpose. Trust my timing. I do not delay because I enjoy watching you struggle. I wait because I am protecting what belongs to you until the proper season arrives. I also want you to understand that not every distraction appears dangerous. Some distractions arrive dressed as productivity, entertainment, busyness, endless responsibilities, or even good opportunities. Slowly, they consume your attention until you wake up realizing you have spent more time speaking to your fears than speaking to me. Days become weeks, weeks become months, and intimacy is gradually replaced by routine. Yet the emptiness you sometimes feel cannot be filled by achievements, possessions, social approval, or constant activity. That longing inside you was created for relationship with me. The restlessness that occasionally stirs within your spirit is not punishment. It is my loving invitation asking you to come back into closeness with me. Bring me the disappointments you never discuss. Bring me the fears you hide behind your smile. Bring me the anger, confusion, and exhaustion that you have become tired of carrying. I do not require polished prayers or perfect words. I simply desire your honest heart because healing often begins at the exact moment when pretending finally ends. So today, my beloved child, I ask you for one thing above all else. Do not quit now. Rest if you are weary. Cry if your heart feels overwhelmed. Sit quietly in my presence if words no longer come easily. But do not surrender the promises I planted within you. There is a difference between resting and giving up. Rest allows me to renew your strength, restore your peace, and remind you that you are deeply loved. Giving up causes many people to leave the field moments before the harvest begins to appear. I did not carry you through painful losses, lonely nights, hidden battles, and impossible seasons simply to leave you standing at the edge of defeat. I remained faithful when you felt abandoned. I remained near when you believed you were alone, and I remain faithful today. Hold tightly to my hand, even if all you possess is a small thread of hope, because what I am about to reveal next concerning the wounds you learned to hide, the fears you buried deep within your heart, and the restoration already being prepared for your future may completely transform the way you see your entire journey. My beloved child, there are wounds within you that you have carried for so long that they have begun to feel like a part of your identity. You learned how to smile while your heart was breaking. You learned how to encourage others while secretly feeling empty yourself. You learned how to say, "I'm fine," even when your soul was exhausted from carrying disappointments that no one else could see. You became so accustomed to surviving that you forgot what it feels like to truly live with peace. But hear me carefully today. I never intended for pain to become your permanent address. I never wanted numbness to replace joy, isolation to replace connection, or fear to become the voice that guides your decisions. I have watched every moment when memories returned unexpectedly and stole your peace. I have seen every time rejection caused you to question your worth. I have heard every silent conversation where you wondered if you would ever feel whole again. But I want you to know this. I am not afraid of your broken places. I am not waiting for you to become stronger before I draw near to you. I move toward weary hearts because healing begins not when you hide your wounds, but when you trust me enough to place them in my hands. My beloved child, stop allowing your past to introduce you to your future. The enemy continually reminds you of old mistakes because it fears the person you are becoming. It wants you to believe that what happened to you has the final word over your destiny. It wants you to believe that betrayal defines you, that failure limits you, and that disappointment has permanently altered the plans I prepared for your life. But before anyone rejected you, I chose you. Before fear attempted to silence your voice, I called you. Before pain convinced you that you were unworthy, I declared that you were deeply loved. The difficult seasons you survived were not meaningless. They taught you compassion. They deepened your understanding of grace. They strengthened your faith in ways comfort never could. One day you will look back and realize that the tears you cried in secret were watering seeds that would eventually grow into wisdom, strength, and a testimony capable of helping countless others who feel tempted to give up. The chapters that hurt the most are often the chapters that reveal my faithfulness most clearly. And there is one more truth I want you to carry with you. My beloved child, I do not want you waking up tomorrow expecting disappointment. I want you to wake up expecting my goodness. I want you to pray with confidence again, worship with freedom again, and dream with anticipation again. You do not need to understand every detail of my plan in order to trust me. A child walking beside a loving father does not need to know every turn in the road because the father's presence is enough to provide security. In the same way, I ask you to trust my heart when you cannot trace my hand. Continue taking small steps of obedience. Continue thanking me before you see the answer. Continue believing that I am working even when your emotions suggest otherwise. Faith does not deny pain. Faith simply refuses to allow pain to become the final chapter. Faith chooses to believe that I remain faithful in every season, that I continue working even in silence, and that every step you take toward me is bringing you closer to the restoration you have prayed for through countless nights of waiting. And now, my beloved child, hear these words and place them deep within your spirit. Do not stop now. Do not become someone who turns back moments before witnessing the very breakthrough they spent years asking me to provide. Let your story be different. Let it be said that even when your hands trembled, you continued holding on. Even when tears blurred your vision, you kept walking. Even when answers delayed, doors remained closed, and weariness whispered that you should quit, you chose to trust me one more time. I am not merely preparing a temporary blessing for you. I am shaping a heart that knows peace in every storm, trust in every uncertainty, and joy that cannot be stolen by changing circumstances. Stay close to me. Return to me every day, even if all you can offer is a whispered prayer and a willing heart. Keep moving forward one faithful step at a time, because the page you thought was ending is actually the beginning of a beautiful new chapter that I have been writing for you from the very beginning. Soon you will understand why I never allowed you to give up, and you will see that every delay, every unanswered question, every hidden battle, and every tear was leading you toward a future far more beautiful than anything you could have imagined.